guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thank you, and frankly, most of you are new here, since this is a new channel. Today is my Sunday talk, and today I just think that the thing that's on my mind lately is dealing with the topic of change this week. Lots of changes this year, some great, some difficult, but change. Let's talk about it. And as I notice here in my garage, we have a mouse. That's a change. So I think, in the great words of Mark Twain, the only person who likes change is a baby with a wet diaper. So one of the biggest changes I had to deal with this year were my mom's illness and she getting very sick and being in the hospital for about 4 months while I was up in Colorado and unable to come down. Um, And that also meant that I would have to leave my job of about a year of being a house manager at a sober living house, uh, helping work with men who are dealing with addiction and recovery from substances. But the changes meant that I had to leave that job, which was providing a little bit of income. It was part time, but really only paid part time because it really did turn into a full time gig. Those changes meant that I would have to move down here in the summer, down to Tucson in the summertime during the hot season. And I was going to stay here for the summer and then return back to Colorado in the fall. Well, that turned into being here through the summer and then also the fall. And I was able to get my classes arranged to be able to teach online this fall, with one trip up to Colorado for some important in service meetings and whatnot, which turned into a lot of change and delay getting back because I had my um, wheel bearings freeze up on me in the middle of nowhere and on I-10 near Wilcox on the way back home. So I needed to spend an extra 2 days camping out in the heat at a auto repair to get that fixed, but I did make it back. And then the change is also now coming where I have to go back to Colorado in about a month, about 2 weeks, about 2 more weeks left, and go back to teaching on ground up in Fort Collins. So my year has been full of all kinds of personal changes with just where I am and my location and uprooting and rerouting, which a big reason for living in this van is to help me with making that a little bit easier. Right? I don't have to give up an apartment or something and then make these changes because we're at a season of life where my mom's health is up and down, especially since my dad passed away last year. And so being down here to help her out has been super important. So that just brings me to kind of reflect on all the different changes that we deal with and how do we deal with them, especially if for van lifers. I mean, van life is about travel, and I'm looking forward to traveling, to seeing some things. And I'm looking forward to camping, and I'm looking forward to taking my time to get back. But I am also looking at living van life while I'm teaching up in for the next 5 months up in Colorado. So that means going back to dealing with things like where do you park every night and not having a home base necessarily, but having an arrangement of places where I can stay. And I've done it before up there, so I do know some places if they're still available or not. They're still good spots. That remains to be seen. But change and is a constant in the van life living. And so that brings up a couple of important personal strengths that I think van lifers really need to, or if you're thinking about getting into this life, really need to think about. And that is your personal resilience, your ability to deal with the unexpected, not panicking when things go wrong, because they do often sometimes, maintaining your personal sense of peace and comfort. And so we invest a lot in our vehicles, which is our homes, to make it a safe place. But that sometimes means that you're parked at a different place every night, or you're in uncertain circumstances, or dealing with the weather. This last week up in Colorado, they had 100-mile-an-hour winds. And I know that with 100-mile-an-hour winds, or any amount of wind, the van becomes a more like living on a ship at sea, very noisy. So I'm glad I'm here for that, not dealing with that. But I know that in the spring, it'll get windy again. So I just want to reflect on, like, what are some of the things that give me that sense of resiliency? One of the biggest things that give me that sense of resiliency is maintaining an expectation that things are going to be changing often. Little things, big things, and just accepting that, realizing that change is just a part of life. The other thing that helps me with that is my faith, knowing that, or believing and knowing that God is in control of the situation, that I am covered and taken care of by God, which over the past number of years has been really shown up as I've had to live this life, been forced into it because of high rents and the need to be flexible for my parents' sake, and needing to be able to travel on a dime where I need to go. Um, Maintaining that faith has been a big part of my own sense of personal peace through all these changes, and giving me a sense that things are just going to be okay. God's got this. I have a shirt that has a big Jesus fish on it, and it says, "I know a guy." And it's a neat shirt because it reminds me that, I've got a problem. I know a guy who can handle it, and I hope that many of you do as well. Or have that sense of personal faith that keep you grounded. And then the other thing that keeps me grounded in all of this, through all these changes, is maintaining and working very hard to maintain my friendships, my good friends that are there with me thick and thin, that I can call and call weekly and tell them what's going on, and just commiserate about the world if need be, because there's plenty of that we could commiserate about, and YouTube is full of videos about that. But, a lot of my ideas about this channel and these talks is to help provide solutions, or talk about solutions, because this is a solution. It's not a perfect solution. It's got its ups and downs. It's got lots of expenses sometimes. Like this week, I'm going to have to get new tires because the laws in Colorado changed this year, which meant that I have to get special snow tires on the vehicle to be compliant, to be able to go over the mountain passes to get home and to drive around safely. It's a good law, but it's a change. And I have to flex, and I have to get all new tires. That'll happen tomorrow. And, we just deal with those types of things. But I know the Lord's got this. I know my friends have my back. I know that I have a deepened a sense of resiliency because of this lifestyle, that I can depend on myself and know where my skills end and where they need to begin. Um, and I know I can do a lot more than I thought I could do. So I certainly hope today as you're watching this little video that you find similar in your life, that you can find a sense of a source of faith for you, that you have good friends that you can rely on, and that you have developed and will develop through this lifestyle if you choose to live in a van like I do. That sense of personal resilience, personal strength, that you know that this life will stretch that. It will really make it clear to you where your growth edges are. So I hope that is interesting to you, and I'd love to hear about any comments. Like and subscribe, please. I thank you for watching the channel. As we get more and more toward actually travel, there will be more content related to that. But right now, I'm in that waiting period right before Christmas and New Year's, waiting for the next big change. So, what changes are you looking forward to? And thanks for watching. See you in the next